Well, a lot of pets make their great escape during the holiday season, or they get sick from all the extra food that is laying around, and that's why it's important to keep some safety tips in mind. So Alyssa is live with a dog behaviorist and canine trainer. Hey, Alyssa.
Good morning. Yeah, we're here with Antonio Diaz of Leader of the Pack, and he's sharing some tips on how to keep our pets safe this holiday season. This is so important. People forget in all the chaos of the season.
They do. They forget they have dogs. When everyone's coming in and out of the house, it's like hard to remember sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's start with your first tip. What is it?
Tip number one is put a leash on your dog or put them away when people are coming over the house. It's that time of the year where we're having lots of deliveries from Amazon or wherever. We have friends and family coming over, and the door's constantly opening and closing. And even when people are in the house, they're still, going outside for whatever reasons. And so we want to make sure that the dog doesn't get forgotten about, because this is the time of year where dogs find that little loophole to run out of the door. Like, lots of dogs go missing or run away during this time of year.
Yeah, my dog is a little escape artist, and she has gotten, I want to say 3 times now, she's gotten out of the front door. And I swear, and this is my message to my brother, Max, were you raised in a barn? Because you always leave the front door open, and my dog likes to run out. Anyways, that's it. So
close the door, Max.
Close the door. Okay, what's your other tip?
Tip number 2 is make sure that you're not allowing family members to feed the dog, because not a lot of people are aware of the dangers that are in foods or certain foods that dogs can't have, like raisins, grapes, onions, and things like that. So plus a lot of times you don't know that those ingredients are in the food. So and then there's artificial sweeteners like xylitol that literally can kill a dog. So
and xylitol is really common in like chewing gum, right?
Chewing gum, and also just other, again, like sweetened foods that for diabetics, for example. So really, really important that everybody is made aware not to give the dogs any food.
Okay, tip number 3.
So similar, kind of a play off of tip 2, is to put the dogs away while everybody's eating. More so, this is more along the lines of preventing aggression issues, because sometimes people aren't aware of the fact that their dogs actually are resource guarders, or if there's food dropped on the floor and somebody goes to pick it up at the same time the dog goes for it, that's pretty much an invitation for a bite, And if you have multiple dogs and food falls on the floor and they both go for it, that's an invitation for a fight. So, things like that. It's all about prevention and good management and supervision.
And this can be really hard too. I think when you're hosting a party and you have dogs that maybe do some resource guarding, it can really make you not want to host a party at all. So would it be best to board your dog during the parties, or just put them in a safe space that they know and love in the home?
Yeah, I mean, if boarding is an option, I would say you can definitely attempt that, go for that. But if not, then just put them away, and you can give them a high value chew to keep them occupied. That's always something that, again, that goes along the lines of good management. So preparing for something like that, I would have stuffed frozen Kongs ready to go, or high value chew items to give the dogs something to do, so they're not just put away in another room or in a kennel with nothing to do.
And then it's something that they like too.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, this last tip is for my nervous girl Juno. Yeah. What's tip number 4?
Tip number 4 is pay attention to and advocate for your nervous, shy, or timid dog. Again, this time of the year is so common for dog bites because there's a lot of people over, a lot of kids coming over, and unfortunately people just don't know how to read dog body language. So, people think that the dog is accepting of touch, and they're not. They're more like tolerating it. And then, we reach the boundaries of the threshold, and then the dog bites, and people wonder why, and then they get mad at the dog. Meanwhile, the dog was cowering and backing away and moving the whole time, but nobody noticed it. Yeah. So pay attention to your dog, and if there's any doubts, again, you can put the dog away. But if you notice that someone is in the dog's face, advocate for the dog, separate the dog, ask people to leave the dogs alone.
Okay, and this can be really hard when you're talking to somebody else's child, because that can be really sensitive for the other child's parents. So how would you tell either that child or their parents, your kid's too close to my dog?
Yeah, great question. I would ask the parents, like, hey, can you guys help me help the dog? And I would get down to the child's level, and I would say, hey, for example, Juno, Logan, Brooklyn, they're really afraid. They're nervous of you. Like, what are you afraid of? And I would use that. So, okay, imagine if that scary thing that you're afraid of was trying to touch you. That's how the dog feels. And I know that you really like dogs, but this dog doesn't like to have those interactions. So can you help me out? and give them a high five and like help them out, like let me see how confident you can help the dog become.
That's amazing. Great advice, Antonio. Thank you so much. And shout out to Brooklyn and Logan, who were so good this whole segment. You're free. Aw, and Kirika.